Hey everybody, it's been a little over a week since I posted my last video where I just kind of went off for a little while about stuff that was going on with my current position at my place of employment. And since that time, a lot of very kind and supportive people have posted comments, being very understanding and patient about the situation and suggesting things I could do and just being generally very wonderful about it. And I honestly felt a little bad because, essentially it was just me ranting about my first world problems for a while and complaining about the fact that I don't enjoy my job, but it is what it is. I'm going to try not to talk about it for much longer with this video because I wanted to do something that was a little more just relaxation focused for a little while, since I haven't done anything like that in this channel in a long time. But I have one thing I at least need to just go ahead and get off my chest, which is that since that time, things didn't particularly improve at my place of work, and I tried to take some steps to see if there were some things I could do to maintain the position while perhaps easing the strain of what I was doing. But what I realized over the course of the week was no matter what I tried to change about the work I was doing in terms of the hours I had scheduled or anything like that, nothing was really going to fix the fact that I had just kind of hit my limit in my ability to do that kind of work. I just don't really have the patience or sincerity to do that kind of work because, I don't know, there's something about that sort of job that really just brings out the worst in the people that we're working with. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but aside from it being a customer service job, a big part of what I was doing was specifically assisting people with their health insurance policies, which I'm not sure. I know quite a lot of people who I've spoken with and who have communicated with me in the past are not located in the United States, but those of you who are probably are aware that the healthcare system in this country is a joke. It's one of the most backwards, dysfunctional things imaginable, and the health insurance system is just as bad. In a lot of ways, Obamacare was a step in the right direction, and in a lot of ways it was not. It was flawed, and it needed to be tweaked in a lot of areas, but unfortunately, now it looks like we're in a situation where it's just going to be eradicated completely, and all of the people who were complaining about government regulation of health insurance are going to find out what it's like when the health insurance companies are fully in control of the pricing and rates for their insurance, which it was so much worse before the federal government got involved. So, good job. Whatever, again, I'm going to try not to dwell on stuff like that, but suffice to say, it frequently brought out the worst in the people that I was trying to assist because there was so little that I could really do for them. And I really tried, but in the end I just got so tired of all the just anger and the accusations and the kind of misery that people would bring in with them whenever they were calling, and I just don't really have the patience to keep up with that kind of thing anymore. I have a good sense for how to provide customer service, but too much of my frustration, my own personal anger issues, and various social neuroses just played into it, and I was getting too wound up and irritated. And eventually I just realized I couldn't keep this up anymore. It's just messing me up so bad, being up there and stressing me out so much when I wasn't there, because I was just constantly thinking about when I would have to go back. So finally I just went to them and I said, I'm sorry, I cannot do this anymore. And I mean, I don't feel good about that. For one, it's highly unprofessional to not at least, give prior notice and give them a chance to, accommodate the fact that they're losing one of their employees. But this is also the kind of company that has such a constant and almost ludicrous turnover rate that I feel less guilty about it in this situation than I would with a lot of other businesses. But it's still, on a personal level, I feel guilt about it. It wasn't the right way to handle the situation, but it was all that I could do. I just couldn't keep it up anymore. I had hoped to at least get a part-time job lined up, or something I could do in the meantime once I left, but it just didn't happen in time, and I reached my limit. So, I mean, it's not all bad for what it is. I mean, honestly, it's a really liberating feeling in a way. I haven't felt this just free and de-stressed. Just haven't felt that way in a really long time, and I'm sure it'll catch up with me as the weight of not having a stable source of income will start to hit me pretty quickly. But for the time being, I'm just, keeping a positive mindset on it. That said, I decided to take the advice that a couple of people had posted in the comments of my video, and I've decided to try my hand again at taking commissioned work, and I'm also going to see if there's some other options for things I can do to try to have at least some minor source of income while I'm getting at least some kind of part-time work sorted out. But the upside to this is that for the time being, I can't really start devoting myself to this channel more. I know that this video doesn't seem like a good example of that, because it's just, sort of run-of-the-mill standard thing. But I will be doing something more along the line of what my channel is about very soon. I've already been writing out quite a lot of scripting for a roleplay video with a new original character for the channel, and I even posted an art piece for that character on my DeviantArt yesterday, as well as the commissions ad and information just earlier this evening. So I'm not highly optimistic that it's going to be something that a lot of people have any interest in, or really that anybody will have any interest in, but I tried to be extremely reasonable with the prices I offered, which may be not to the most of my own benefit, but I hope that at least, indicates I'm aware that my art is not highly desirable, and I'm not going to be egotistical about it and think that I deserve more than what the art is worth. But that's at least something I can try for right now, and if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. But I have to at least try something. In the meantime, like I said, I'm just going to try and start devoting a lot more time to the channel, posting things online and working on ideas for new videos. And I'll try to be more in touch with people who try to communicate with me through the channel and respond as much as I can. So I really do appreciate everybody who commented and all of the wonderful support that I've received over this time. I really should have been doing a much better job with this channel in response to how enthusiastic and kind everyone has been, and I'm going to try to be doing that now that I have the luxury of time to devote to that effort. So, thank you again, and I mean, if anybody does have even the slightest interest in the commission thing, you're more than welcome to message me directly about it, or just let me know. But I'm not gonna be offended or upset if nobody decides to take me up on it, because again, I'm aware of what it is. I'm aware that there's a lot of competition for that sort of thing, and as compared to the vast majority of artists who are making their living through taking commissions and working through Patreon and that sort of thing, I really do not measure up to those people. So I know where I stand, and I'm realistic about it, but can't hurt to try at least. Anyway, I spent more time talking about all of that than I meant to, so call it at that and just chat about general stuff from here. I'm probably going to have a lot less time to spend on frivolous things like video games, which admittedly are a pretty major vice of mine. It's always been a form of escapism for me that I've had a lot of interest in, and I consider video games to be an art form and a form of storytelling that's just as valid as film or music or any form of, physical art. But I don't know, there's just something about the experience of gaming that's always been really special to me, and even now I still try to invest myself where I can in the kinds of things that are important to me. That sounded weird to say that way. I'm not sure exactly what I was trying to say there. I mean, even with the just limited energy and time that I had with the job position I was at, I still tried to put in time with gaming, and that was more of a thing just to help me de-stress and try not to think about what I was having to deal with the job. But I guess in recent developments I've actually finally started playing Overwatch, which I know I'm really late to the game on that one, but it is definitely quite worth its popularity. It's a very well designed game, and it's a lot of fun to play. So that's something that's been going on. I never really has spent much time talking about my own personal interests all that much on this channel. It's mostly just been, Undertale related content or gameplay videos, that sort of thing. But I don't know, I'm a pretty media focused person. I watch a lot of movies, anime, I listen to a lot of music, and I play a lot of video games. It's just kind of how I am. I mean, big surprise, right? Like, that's anything unusual. But I guess I'm a little surprised at myself that I haven't gotten on the topic of anime, because it's obviously a pretty significant influence on both my art style and my interests, but I don't really spend a lot of time talking about it. Lately, there's been some decent shows that I've taken an interest in, which is pleasant, because for a while I kind of fell off the bandwagon with anime and kind of just got burnt out and stopped getting as invested in the shows I was watching. But I got really into Yuri on Ice when that was airing, and I mean, that's not surprising. That one was really hugely popular, and I'm glad that it had the level of popularity that it did, because it absolutely deserved it. It was an incredibly well-crafted show. I mean, if you look at, like, Twitter discussions and interviews from actual Olympic figure skaters who have watched the show, they've just been, like, surprised at how much detail and realism there is involved. And it's just, whoever did the research and put the effort in to make all of those depictions as accurate as possible really did a just fine job with it. It is a wonderful show to watch, and of course it's appealing for other reasons as well that I obviously don't have to spell out, but yeah, it's just a really wonderful thing to watch, and I'm glad that it has been successful, and I hope that the creator decides to proceed with doing follow-ups to it in whatever form he chooses to do so. He or she, I actually haven't done all that much research on the director behind the anime. Should probably do that at some point. Lately, a couple of my friends ended up talking me into checking out an anime that started its run a couple years ago called Shokugeki no Soma, or the Western title is Food Wars, and it is an absolutely silly, just over-the-top, ridiculous anime. It's so much fun to watch, but it's one of those shows that you have to, like, watch with an open mind and kind of take what you're seeing with a grain of salt. It's essentially an anime about chefs in training, students going to this elite cooking school that's like, I don't know, imagine the intensity of law school where they tell you look to your left and look to your right, one of those people will not be graduating with you, or something like that type thing, except it's more along the lines of only 10% of the student body gets to graduate level of intensity. It's overly exaggerated in a ridiculous way, but the show immediately just goes right off the rails with its levels of insanity by having these just absurdly frequently sexual reactions with the characters who are trying the food that other characters make, and it's just absolutely ludicrous. There's tons of weird little anime references to things like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and Fist of the North Star, as well as other things thrown in, and they just take this very seemingly mundane thing of making fine cuisine and turning it into this overly dramatic, surreal anime. It is really, really funny and entertaining to watch. And I'm sure I could, if I actually wanted to start listing anime that I enjoy, I'd end up, stuck on the video for several hours. I'd probably end up getting on the topic of dot hack sign somewhere along the line, and then just spending at least 2 hours alone just talking about the dot hack franchise, and then I'd never get back off of that tangent again. This is why I have to script my videos before I record them, because it's really easy for me to go off on tangents and get lost and end up talking for way too long about things that nobody's interested in. But this was meant to be just kind of a talking about nothing type video, but you wouldn't really have to pay too much attention to the things that I'm saying, and hopefully the sound of the keyboard isn't getting drowned out too much and kind of makes it pleasant to listen to. And again, I'll have an actual scripted roleplay up fairly soon. I've already got most of the art for it finished and a good chunk of the script written out, so I just have to finish writing it and put everything together, record. Hopefully that'll be up. I guess I should set the goal to try and have it up before next week, or at least early next week. But that also depends on if anybody does end up contacting me requesting a commission or anything like that, because I'll also, to some degree, have to prioritize working on that so I don't keep anybody waiting. But again, that may not come up, so we'll see. Anyway, I can't really think of anything else right this moment that would be worth talking about. But also, I guess at this point it would probably be worth acknowledging that I'm willing to take any requests if anybody wants to, post a comment or suggestion for something they'd like to see on the channel. When I originally started the KIVA channel a good while back, I got numerous requests on one of my first videos, and there were some really interesting ideas. And I remember just a couple of them off the top of my head, but when I deleted the channel and all the original videos, I lost all of those comments. And that's one of the reasons I feel so guilty and miserable about that. I ended up losing a good chunk of suggestions that people had made. But I guess that puts me in a position now where if anybody who's still interested in the channel has any ideas or anything they'd particularly like to see, I'm more than happy to try and get it done, so please feel free to comment. But otherwise I'll just try to keep a steady flow of content on my own and figure out what I can. But I guess I'll just go ahead and wrap the video up for here. I'm recording for about 25 minutes. That's a fair enough length for the time being, especially for a video that was sort of just on the fly. But thank you all for listening, and hope you all have a wonderful night from here, or a wonderful rest of your day, whatever time of the day you choose to listen to this, if you're still listening at this point. Thank you again, and I'll see you later.